Hey, hello, and welcome back to Black Hole Sun Podcast Afterthought. I'm your host, Moss. And Black Hole Sun, if you didn't know, if you kind of stumbled upon this video on YouTube and you're wondering what the heck is this about? Well, number one, please subscribe and smash the like button after this video and let me know what you think. Black Hole Sun is a podcast. Of course, it's a song as well. That's where I got the idea for the name. It's a podcast about different weird and wacky stuff, super unknowns. Like we talk about the occult, metaphysics, astrology, witches, all different sorts of weird and wacky stuff that we like to talk about. So this particular video is the afterthought. So we talk about episodes that I've already published, and we come here, we talk about anything we may have forgotten or maybe questions people had about the actual podcast. So I come here and I talk about it. I will link in the description below the actual episode, podcast episode, obviously, for this YouTube video. So you can go check it out if you haven't already. And I will also, for the next YouTube video, I will link down below the next episode. I apologize, I'm a little behind. I released more podcast episodes than I did videos, so I'm trying to catch up, so please be patient with me. I think I'm up to episode 4 of the podcast. So yeah, I have to make some videos here, huh? So this episode today is about aliens, and the episode is titled I Want to Believe, which is from the X-Files. So in terms of talking about aliens, I brought in the X-Files, which is a show that aired on Fox for about 11 seasons. It had 2 main characters, and they worked for the FBI, and they worked on their cases were called X-Files because they were supernatural phenomenon cases. And I think it's a great place to, obviously it's fiction, but it's a great place to find a lot of ideas for me, for podcasts. But also there's a lot of different stories that are told there that are folklore or urban legends that they discuss. There's 2 characters on the show, Mulder and Scully, that sort of are the opposite of each other at the beginning. So Scully comes into the X-Files to debunk all of Mulder's sort of findings. So Mulder's is like diehard. He's like really into believing in alien life. His sister, he presumes that his sister, when he was a kid, was abducted by aliens. People think he's wacky. They call him Spooky Mulder, but he believes in all these phenomenons. And they created the X-Files for him so he can go and do this. You later realize why this happened and why he was allowed to do this, because you're just like, why is this guy getting, he's a weirdo. Why is he getting his own kind of cases in his own department? But just see, if you keep watching, you understand what went down for him to have this to happen. So at the first episode, if you need to watch any episodes of X-Files, watch the first one. It explains everything. But then from there, you can kind of jump around seasons. I would stick to the first 6 seasons. I think it gets kind of dicey after season 6. And then there's the newer ones that came out a couple years ago, 10 and 11. I'm not crazy about them, but it was kind of nice to see them again, see them together again, Mulder and Scully. But I wasn't like super crazy about the 2 new seasons. But yeah, if you're going to go check out X-Files, start with the first episode, and then from there you can jump around. So going back to Mulder and Scully, so Mulder, diehard, believes in little green men or purple men or whatever color aliens you think are out there. He's like so diehard. He's wearing that tinfoil hat. He's there. Scully, on the other hand, she is a doctor. She believes in facts, super factual. She is hired to work with Mulder to debunk his findings, to kind of report back to the Bureau and explain what they're doing, but in a more logical way. So those are the two people. And when I did the podcast episode, sorry, it's really hot in here too. When I did the podcast episode, I asked everybody if they were Mulder or they were Scully. And a lot of people leaned closer to Mulder. I think a lot of us believe. It was really interesting because a lot of people who approached me sent me messages. And of course, you can DM me and message me here or on one of my social medias. I will leave all the information below. I prefer email. I'll leave that below too. And just let me know what you think. A lot of people were like, there were diehard Mulder individuals. I asked, who did you relate to more, Mulder or Scully? And everybody kind of leaned to Mulder. I'm kind of on the fence because I do believe, of course, but I do enjoy facts. But unfortunately, there's no facts out there. So we're still in limbo trying to figure out, if this is true. But I do believe there's aliens out there. And like I say in the podcast, how can you not? We live in a vast universe. So why wouldn't you believe in aliens or other kind of extraterrestrial life forms or just other life forms? I was actually a guest on my friend Elroy Martinez Jr.'s podcast, and he asked me the same question. And he asked me, what do I think they look like? Do I think they look like humanoids? Do they look like us? Or do they just look like something totally different? And my answer was, I think that it's like going to another sci-fi reference. I think it's like Star Trek. There's a whole different kind of different types of species. So there's different kinds of people, not necessarily, one cookie cutter type of person. I think that the people who have tried to contact us are little green men with big bulging eyes. I think those are the ones that have been brave enough to contact us. And I do believe in Area 51. I believe in flying saucers. I think those things really have happened. I know that if, right now, as I filmed this video, we're at the end of what's going on in the world. It's 2020 and there's a lot going on. And even wearing a mask is difficult for people. People are having a really hard time. They feel like their civil liberties are being attacked. And hey, whatever. I personally I'm going to wear my mask. So I can't imagine the government coming out and saying, hey, we've made contacts with aliens. If people are having difficulty with smaller things in the world, how would something as big as aliens affect them? So I totally understand that the government probably is hiding this, because even when it supposedly happened back in, I believe the 30s, I'm sorry, not 100% sure what decade it was. Just think about sort of the technology and what the people had. They were very naive, they didn't know any better. So something like this would have totally been like a pandemonium. So unfortunately, it might be a little while longer until we actually see actual extraterrestrial. I think that NASA recently talked about seeing something out in space that looked like a spaceship, of course, in 2020, where there's everything going on. But I think we're further along, if you catch my drift, than that. I think they're giving us like crumbs, but I think we're way further along than that. I think that we have had contact and we have more vital information. But I'm not a tinfoil hat wearer, this is just how I feel about this. So yeah, so let me know your thoughts. What else you might, before I forget, another thing Elroy asked me was, what's my favorite alien movie? And I think he was leaning more to the scary stuff because there's so many different alien movies, but then I thought about Alien. That's one of my favorite alien movies, but there's a lot. I think that I will do a podcast episode on alien films. That'll come up too. And yeah, this is it. This is the afterthought. So please check out the podcast. Let me know what you think. If you kind of discovered this video on your own and you have no idea who I am, welcome. The link down below for the podcast is there. Go listen to that and then listen to this and let me know what you think. Also, I've provided the next link for the next video. I'm kind of behind, so sorry. So So yeah, so let me know what you think. Smash that like button. Please subscribe. Really appreciate it. Until next time. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.